We have always been at the mercy of the awesome forces of nature. Floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes kill thousands every year. But we're gaining the upper hand. We're learning to protect ourselves from the weather. We can use technology to our advantage. Technology will take us to places we once could only dream of. Space, a lethal vacuum which provides the ultimate survival challenge. The temperature out here is minus 454 degrees Fahrenheit. If these astronaut spacesuits were punctured in this hostile place, the air would be sucked out of their lungs. The sudden drop in pressure would make the blood boil inside their veins. By transporting the Earth's weather, the air, water, and heat, with us into space, we found a way to master these conditions and create our own environment, a microclimate. Without it, we couldn't survive here. Spacesuits are the most advanced microclimate systems we've built. But even on Earth, we use technology to help us beat the elements. This diver is about to swim in freezing waters under the thick Arctic ice. In his thermal diving suit, he can barely feel the cold. He's created his own personal weather system inside his suit. A microclimate can be as small as the layer of air surrounding the body. We've mastered the art of protecting ourselves, which means we can thrive almost anywhere. Another environment we've managed to conquer is Antarctica, one of the world's most challenging and deadly places. It's the coldest place on Earth. Temperatures here can plunge down to minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Without high-tech clothing and equipment, you couldn't survive here for more than a few hours. Your body would freeze solid. But the human body can be protected by multiple layers of clothing, which trap warm air. But to survive in an environment like this for long periods, it's essential to build a bigger microclimate. A tent surrounds the body with a large volume of vital warm air. To provide a permanent microclimate, the Arctic Canadian Inuit built their homes by stretching animal skins over whale bones. These were the only building materials available in these icy wastes. Traditionally, the Inuit eat caribou, seal, walrus, and fish, a diet that provides ample energy to protect against the cold. Building microclimates and eating the right foods is all part of a strategy that's allowed generations of Inuit to survive here, even through 9 months of winter. Some people's life's dream is to conquer this kind of hostile environment. Stephen Venables beat the odds by defeating Everest. He's one of the few who have reached the 29,000-foot summit, alone and without oxygen. Mount Everest is a wasteland of rock and ice at -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Blizzards attack without warning, and at the summit there's only a third of the normal amount of oxygen.
I allowed myself just 10 minutes on the summit, and then I thought I must turn around and leave this very dangerous, bewitching place where human beings were never designed to come. Almost as soon as I turned around and set off back down towards the South Col, I realized that this was going to be a struggle. The wind had got up, the snow was blowing in my face, my glasses were icing over, I was hyperventilating, struggling to get breath into my lungs, and suddenly Everest felt a very lonely, hostile, frightening place.
Stephen Venables made it back to base camp alive after he was forced to spend the night out in the open without a tent. He paid the price, frostbite.
I took off my boots. The right foot was okay apart from the discoloration on the heel. On the left foot, the heel was frostbitten, and all but the little toe were grey, and they were starting to turn a purplish colour. And you could see the exact demarcation line between the living flesh and the flesh which was starting to die.
Frostbite strikes when the flesh freezes. Toes, fingers, ears, and noses are the most vulnerable. Skin turns purple and then black as the tissue dies and the blood decomposes. Stephen Venables had truly battled against the elements and won, but just barely.
I think survival is very much a state of mind, and provided you've got the experience and the right gear, you just have to decide, I'm not going to die. Other people have been through this, they have survived. Maybe I'm going to lose some toes. I probably am going to lose some toes because they're just encased in those plastic boots and I can't warm them up. But I'm jolly well going to get my body down alive off this mountain.
One-third of our continents are covered in arid, shimmering deserts that seem unconquerable. Temperatures have soared to a record 134 degrees Fahrenheit. This is Coober Pedy, 500 miles north of Adelaide in the heart of the Australian desert. It's one of the hottest and most desolate places man can withstand. Dust devils, swirling masses of airborne soil powered by the heat of the sun, twist and writhe down the streets. There's only one reason people stay here. Millions of dollars worth of opals are hidden under the ground, and the locals have found the best way to survive. Under the desert floor, it's a comfortable 70 degrees Fahrenheit all year round. So the miners have built dwellings, complete with electricity, running water, and all the comforts of home. The rock naturally insulates underground homes against the searing heat. It would take 4 times more energy to cool a traditional house above ground. Ventilation shafts allow fresh air to circulate down through the rock into the rooms. Coober Pedy is Aboriginal for white man's burrow. The town was built just after World War I using trench building skills to create cool microclimates.
Living underground is going to be quite an experience. This little dugout will be dining room, kitchen, and drawing room combined, with a space about 7 foot by 7 foot.
Complete homes were fashioned out of the bare rock, a tradition that continues today.
This is the main ensuite bathroom in the home. Here in the corner we're having a elevated bath, shower, toilet, large skylight to let a lot of natural light in. If you'd like to follow me through into the master bedroom, I'll show you how all this is built.
When you want a new bedroom in Cuba PD, all you have to do is drive in your mining equipment. Every summer, millions of people go out of their way to worship the sun. Our bodies are well adapted to cope with extreme heat. We have more sweat glands per square inch of skin than any other animal. Excess body heat evaporates the sweat, and this creates a tiny layer of cooler air next to the skin. This personal weather control is an automatic response we don't even have to think about. All of us sweat, but not everyone is naturally protected against the sun's lethal rays. Fair-skinned people have weak defenses against the sun's deadly ultraviolet light. The result is sunburn. On many beaches around the world, sunbathers are taking direct action against these killer rays. This anti-burn patrol is on the lookout for unprotected bathers. Their weapons are loaded with sunblock. It's all for a good cause, to reduce skin cancer. The greater the exposure to the sun, the greater the risk of getting skin cancer, especially deadly malignant melanomas. Unless they're removed, they develop into large tumors which spread rapidly throughout the body. But there are many people who want to live in hot, sunny places. So we've built cool, comfortable environments under the sun. We live and work in giant refrigerators. These monolithic air-conditioned skyscrapers keep us cool, even in a heat wave. But technology isn't perfect, and when our refrigerated microclimates fail, we are truly at the mercy of extreme heat. During the heat wave of 1995, thousands of air conditioning systems in Chicago broke down. People not only got heat stroke, they suffered heart attacks, strokes, and severe breathing problems.
Hello, sir. Hi, I'm Dr. Van Hoof. How are you doing today?
Some patients went into comas. The temperatures of other victims soared to 105 and higher. Many ended up with brain damage, and over 500 people died. This was the worst heat wave in Chicago's history. At times like this, it seems as if we are powerless pawns under nature's command. We can protect ourselves from nature's most violent extremes if we can predict them. Hurricanes are hugely destructive storms. They last several hours and can be up to 1,000 miles wide. Their winds gust at speeds of over 200 miles an hour, and they kill more people each year than any other storm. Accurate forecasting is the first line of defense against violent weather. We have complex systems for reporting, studying, and predicting all aspects of weather. In America, data is collected from over 1,000 land stations, 2,000 ocean observation sites, and dozens of satellites. Each records the weather's vital statistics: air temperature, pressure, rainfall, and wind speed. Feed the numbers into a supercomputer with sophisticated prediction software, and the meteorologists get an accurate forecast.
Good evening. Well, it was virtually cloud-free statewide today, with above-average temperatures in most centres. The barometric pressure at the Bureau...
All over the world, supercomputers have revolutionized forecasting. Our 24-hour forecasts are now 90% accurate.
You can see it into Ohio. It's snowing from Columbus. Been about 3-4 inches around Indianapolis, and now a bit of light snow moving into West Virginia. But there's the band, and you can get a feel, I think, for that band.
And 5-day forecasts are now 60% accurate. Forecasting saves lives. We can now accurately predict a hurricane's path in time to evacuate people in danger. And the latest space shuttle technology can help the meteorologists measure the speed of a hurricane's winds. August 1992, and the National Hurricane Center's prediction was correct. Hurricane Andrew's 200-mile-an-hour winds and storm surge cost $20 billion of damage. But thanks to modern forecasting, there were very few fatalities. Hurricanes are not the only enemy we have to face. Even gentle rain can threaten our existence. The vital ingredient to life itself can turn into an unpredictable and awesome power. Floods, because of their sheer scale, are even more lethal than hurricanes. Forecasting them is vital. They kill more people than any other natural disaster. Despite all our efforts, nature sometimes catches us off guard. Not even the latest technology can reliably predict a tornado touchdown. Tornadoes can strike almost anywhere in the world, but over 1,000 hit North America each year, more than any other single place. Tornadoes have the fastest winds on Earth, at up to 300 miles an hour, and they can appear out of nowhere, destroying everything in their path.
Get up under the girders. Is that where you want to go? Yeah. Hang on to the girders. Underneath. Don't worry about it. Hang on.
Strong winds can generate power. The biggest wind turbines resemble giant aircraft propellers with blades reaching 330 feet across. But until recently, they weren't very reliable. Like traditional windmills, they only provided electricity when it was windy. Today's technology allows us to store energy efficiently in batteries, so we can get electricity even when there's no wind. In 1990, Californian wind turbines supplied power equivalent to the combustion of over 3.5 million barrels of oil. And now we're learning to harness the enormous power of the sun. By intersecting some of the hundreds of billions of megawatts of solar power, we can transform it into electricity using panels of photovoltaic cells. Each cell is made up of thin slices of silicon crystals. Every time a photon of sunlight hits the cells, electrons inside them jump from one silicon layer to another, and this movement produces electricity. Modern solar panels are now so smart that they can track the sun in the sky, and the cells are so sensitive that we can get electricity from them even when it's cloudy. Our technology has become so advanced that we can use sunny weather to produce a microclimate inside a house. One solar panel can provide enough energy to air condition an entire home. One day, solar energy may even be used to power cars. Every 2 years, prototypes of this technology from all around the world take part in a race across Australia. The World Solar Challenge is the longest and toughest solar-powered car race. During the 2,000-mile race from Darwin to Adelaide, these cars travel at an average speed of 50 miles an hour. Some of the fastest can even reach 80. By applying our ingenuity, we have overcome many of the problems the weather has thrown our way. One day, we will be masters of the weather. Even now, we're learning to make our own microclimates. We're learning to harness the weather to our advantage. And as we venture away from our planet, we are creating our own climate in space stations, and ultimately, in vehicles bound for other worlds. Maybe one day, we will develop the technology to create and transport our ideal weather to colonies on other planets and carry our microclimates to the ends of the cosmos.
Next, we found a lot of remains, but we can't figure out how dinosaurs made it to Alaska. A few opinions next on Paleo World. Then we recreate the pyramids on Real History, right here on TLC.